Okay, the first question asks, a nitride ion forms, oh, that's really big. Sorry, one second. When a nitrogen atom gains 3 electrons, loses, let's just talk about what a nitride ion is. So nitrogen is a nonmetal, and remember that metals lose their electrons and nonmetals need electrons. And we also know that nitrogen is in group 5, which means that it has 5 valence electrons. So it needs how many electrons to have a full octet? It needs 3 electrons. So it's going to gain 3 electrons, and that would make it N3 minus. A magnesium ion forms when a magnesium atom, so okay, again, we have a magnesium ion. This is a metal. Remember, the metals are losers, so they lose electrons. And magnesium is in group, oh, sorry, let me pull up my periodic table. Okay, magnesium is in group 2, which means that it's going to lose 2 electrons. So loses 2 electrons. And for metals that are in the main group elements, so not transition metals, just metals in group 1 and 2, you can look at those, and if they're in group 1, they are a 1+. If they are in group 2, they're a 2+. Magnesium is in group 2, so he's a 2+. He loses 2 electrons to gain a full octet. And maybe let's just look at this real quick. So we have magnesium. Okay, here's his inner shell. He has 2 electrons, right? Magnesium has a total of 12. So he's going to have 3 shells. I don't know if I have enough room to do 3 shells. Okay, so he's going to have 8 electrons in this shell. That gives us 10. And he's going to have 2 on his valence shell. So is it easier for him to lose 2 electrons or to gain 6 electrons? Well, it's easier for him to lose these 2 electrons, to give them away. And when he does that, oops, now he doesn't have this outer shell. And so now his valence shell has a full octet. And that's what he wants. So he got rid of 2 electrons. That's why he's 2+. Which pair of elements is most likely to form a molecular compound? So for these questions, the best thing to do is to know what it is you're looking for. And for a molecular compound, we know that molecular compounds form between 2 nonmetals. So let's just cross off all of the answers that have a metal in them. So the thing to know here is that a molecular compound is between 2 nonmetals. So we're going to cross off everything that has a metal. Well, this has a metal, which is aluminum. This has sodium. This has sodium. So that just leaves sulfur and hydrogen. And remember, even though hydrogen is in group 1 and is over on the side of the metals, hydrogen is not a metal. So anything that reacts with hydrogen that's not a metal will form a molecular compound. So now we're going to do the same thing, but with an ionic compound. So for ionic compounds, you want to know that an ionic compound is between a metal and a nonmetal. So you're just going to look for a metal and a nonmetal for an ionic compound. So we know S and O are both nonmetals, C and S are both nonmetals, N and H are both nonmetals, which leaves us with D, hydrogen, which is a nonmetal, and Na, which is a metal. Which of the following represents the lead-4 compound? So now we're looking at a transition metal, and transition metals change their charge. So we want to look at who the lead is bonded with, first of all, and what the charge on that element is. So we know the charge on lead. We know that it's going to be 4. Whatever lead bonded with is what will tell us the compound. So we already know that it's not A because LD isn't even an element. So you have to know the symbol for lead, which is Pb. Sulfur is in group, let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7. So sulfur is in group 6, which means that it's going to have a 2 minus. And we know that our lead has a 4 plus. I'm going to do Pb 4 plus. So if we bring these down, I'm looking at letter B right now, then we would get Pb2S4, which would, these are divisible by each other, so we would get Pb1S2. So that's not correct, because that S here, if you look, does not have a 2 right here. It would need a 2 right there, which gives us our answer, actually. If it were to bond with sulfur, it would be PbS2. But let's look at PbO4 and see why that's not correct, just to know. So again, we have Pb, which is lead, and I always like to think I don't want lead in my Pb and J. That's how I remember it. We know we have a lead 4 plus. Oxygen is in the same group as sulfur, so we know it's a 2 minus. So it's going to end up being the same PbO2. So this one is trying to trick you, or not trick you, but for you to recognize that that 4, just because it's lead 4, that 4 doesn't go on lead. It's going to affect the element to which it's bonded. So that's why our answer is C.